Introducing the all-new Corolla.
Sam, my dear Uncle Sam, thanks for coming back to Guam.
Once again, JIGPO Director Joe Ludovici opened the public comment period saying they're here to listen and no final decision has been made yet.
The last two nights, we have had a lot of good feedback, and what I heard when I went around is the considerations that are going on in some of our analysis and whether or not we could change any of our plannings based on what we've heard. So I think I'm just trying to acknowledge the value that we hear in your comments.
Speaker Judy Wonpat, who has already raised objections to the proposed surface danger zone over part of the Ritidian Wildlife Refuge, last night took aim at the proposed placement of the Marine Barracks in Finnegadon.
In order to build a separate base for the Marines at Finnegadon, Chapter 4 of the SEIS states that they would have to destroy 1,020 acres of native limestone forest, which provides habitat to our native species of plants and animals, reduce fire risk, and maintains our water quality. This destruction could be avoided or minimized with the selection of either South Finnegadon or Anderson Air Force Base, alternatives B and C, because both of these alternatives have existing housing units that could be reconstructed or renovated to accommodate the Marines without having to destroy a limestone forest.
And Senator Ben Pangilinan questioned the validity of the process, arguing that pending passage of Congresswoman Bordallo's proposal to create a surface danger zone over Ritidian would allow the Navy to do what it wants, regardless of what was said at these hearings.
We get to this process where they're supposed to listen and we're hoping to influence. They now have an act in Congress that would allow them not to follow this process and to do what the Navy wants to do with regards to the location of the firing range. It's not fair, it's not balanced, it's not good faith.
Many others, however, focused their remarks not on the specifics of the draft SEIS for the buildup, but on their own views over the complex, sometimes close and sometimes painful history between Guam and the U.S. military.
We fought the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, and Coast Guard. You know, we cannot defend our nation. And I also want to say that pound for pound, the United States, as imperfect as it is the best country in the history of the world.
Let's be honest about this. We don't have to paint these stories. They're stories. It's not real. It is not real. The Americans did not come back to save Guam, and that's okay. That's okay. They came back to take the land, not to save the people. Let's be very clear about that.
When North Korea mentioned Guam as their target for their missile, Department of Defense didn't even blink. They sent a THAAD missile here to defend Guam. Nobody complained about that. And those Army's service members are still up in Anderson defending Guam.
You know what they did with the land they took from my grandfather? They built a golf course on it. So when the DOD says they need land for national defense or for military training, excuse me when I say no.
So I oppose all activities related to war on all the Mariana Islands. And I demand that we start to decrease the military's presence here on Guam, where today we say no to these fire ranges, and tomorrow we, the ones who inherited these islands for thousands of years, begin genuine dialogue for 7 generations to come.
I remind that we have other alternatives in the whole document that talk for the cantonment and housing, as well as the firing range. So this is not a decision. We're at the draft, and we will go forward from the comments that we receive in further analysis to get to a final decision in about a year from now.
8th of December, 1940.
Kevin Kerrigan, PNC News.